Welcome to our spine-chilling journey through the 10 most haunted locations in Myanmar. From eerie caves to mysterious lakes, these places are steeped in dark history and terrifying legends. Stay tuned as we uncover the ghostly tales that haunt these eerie spots. And perhaps, just maybe, you'll feel the chill yourself. 1. Mount Popa, Mandalay Region. Perched above the central plains of Myanmar, Mount Popa is a towering extinct volcano, rising nearly 1,518 meters, 4,980 feet, above the landscape. Despite its breathtaking views, the mountain harbors chilling legends that have terrified locals and travelers for centuries. Mount Popa is considered the dwelling place of Myanmar's most powerful nats, ancient spirits that control fate and misfortune. The most feared among them is Maung Tint Day, a vengeful ghost known for his violent past. Legends say he was once a loyal blacksmith, betrayed and executed by a ruthless king. After his death, his spirit sought revenge, unleashing storms and earthquakes upon the land. Even today, villagers whisper that he watches over the mountain, waiting to punish those who disrespect the spirits. Visitors report eerie sensations as they climb the 707 steps leading to the sacred monastery at the summit. Some have felt unseen hands pushing them or whispering voices warning them to leave. Monks and pilgrims claim to have seen shadowy figures lurking in the mist, vanishing the moment they turn to look. A chilling tale tells of a group of tourists who camped near the base of the mountain one night. As darkness fell, an unnatural silence consumed the forest. Then, a woman's wailing echoed through the trees. Thinking it was a lost traveler, they searched, only to find no one there. The next morning, a local elder told them the terrifying truth. Years ago, a young woman fell to her death from the cliffs, and her restless spirit now wanders the mountain, crying for help. Even the bravest souls fear to spend the night near Mount Popa. The spirits that dwell here do not welcome strangers. Would you dare to climb it? 2. Kyauk Ka Lat Pagoda, Hpa An, Myanmar. Nestled in the heart of Hpa An, Kyauk Ka Lat Pagoda is a breathtaking sight. A delicate golden temple perched atop a towering, needle-like limestone rock, surrounded by a serene lake. By day, it is a place of peace and meditation, but as night falls, an eerie atmosphere takes over, and the shadows come alive. Local monks whisper of the guardian spirit, an unseen force that has protected the pagoda for centuries. It is said that long ago, a lone monk seeking enlightenment built the temple at the peak. However, as he meditated, he encountered a mysterious entity, a pale woman in white, standing on the water, whispering cryptic warnings. Some believe she was a lost soul trapped between worlds. Others say she was an omen of something darker. Even today, those who visit at dusk claim to see strange reflections in the water, figures that do not match those standing at the edge of the lake. A local fisherman once told the story of a young man who dared to swim in the lake after sunset. Moments after he disappeared beneath the surface, he began to scream. By the time his friends pulled him out, his face was twisted in terror, and he whispered only 2 words before losing consciousness. "She's watching." He never spoke again. Monks advise visitors never to stay past twilight. They say that as the sky darkens, the mists around the pagoda begin to shift, revealing shapes of long-forgotten spirits. Some claim they are the lost souls of those who disrespected the sacred site. So if you ever find yourself at Kyauk Ka Lat Pagoda, admire its beauty, but leave before the night comes. You never know who or what might be watching. 3. Saddan Cave, Hpa An. Deep in the misty landscapes of Hpa An, Myanmar, lies Saddan Cave, a vast limestone cavern filled with ancient Buddha statues and murals. By day, it is a sacred place, drawing pilgrims and travelers alike. But as night descends, the cave transforms into something far more sinister, a dark, endless void where whispers echo and unseen eyes watch from the shadows. The villagers tell an old tale of a cursed monk who once meditated in the cave. It is said that he sought enlightenment, but instead encountered a being of darkness, a spirit that lurked within the deepest chamber of Saddan Cave. When the monk emerged, his eyes were hollow, and his voice had turned into a low, guttural whisper. He warned the villagers never to enter the cave at night. Then, without another word, he walked back into the darkness and was never seen again. Today, local guides refuse to take visitors inside after sunset. Those who ignore the warnings report strange experiences, sudden temperature drops, ghostly figures flickering in the torchlight, and whispers in an unknown language. A group of explorers once entered the cave at dusk, determined to uncover its secrets. Hours later, only one emerged. His body was covered in deep scratches, his mind shattered with fear. When asked what had happened, he could only stutter, "The eyes, they were watching." Some say the spirits of the cave are the restless souls of those who died here, unable to escape its labyrinthine depths. Others believe the cave itself is alive, a hungry entity that lures in the curious and the foolish. So if you ever visit Saddan Cave, admire its beauty, but never venture too deep, for in the darkness, something is always watching. 4. Inle Lake, Shan State. At first glance, Inle Lake is a picture of tranquility. Its still waters stretch for miles, reflecting the golden glow of the sunrise. The floating villages, with their stilted houses and fishermen balancing on one leg, create an almost dreamlike scene. But beneath its calm surface, the lake hides ancient secrets, stories of drowned souls and spirits that never left. Fishermen whisper about the Lady of the Lake, a spectral figure seen drifting across the misty waters before dawn. Legends say she was once a beautiful woman from a nearby village, betrothed to a man she did not love. On the night before her wedding, she vanished without a trace. Some say she ran away. Others believe she was dragged beneath the water by an unseen force. To this day, her sorrowful wails can be heard in the dead of night. Many travelers have reported eerie encounters, ghostly figures appearing in their boat's reflection, the sensation of icy fingers brushing against their ankles, and lanterns flickering without wind. One chilling tale tells of a group of tourists who took a boat ride after dark. As they crossed a particularly deep section of the lake, they saw a woman standing on the water. Her long hair floated around her, and her hollow eyes stared directly at them. In an instant, she vanished. The boatmen, pale with fear, refused to speak of what they had seen. Locals believe that the lake is a portal, a place where the living and the dead exist side by side. Some claim to hear whispers beneath their boats, voices calling them into the depths. And some unlucky souls, they say, never make it back to shore. So if you ever visit Inle Lake, admire its beauty, but never stay on the water after dark. You might not be alone. 5. Mount Victoria, Nat Ma Tong, Chin State. Rising above the misty forests of Chin State, Mount Victoria, also known as Nat Ma Tong, is one of Myanmar's most sacred mountains. Its breathtaking views and lush trails attract trekkers from around the world. But the deeper one ventures into the wilderness, the stronger the feeling of being watched by something unseen, something ancient. The mountain is named after the Nats, powerful spirits that demand respect. According to legend, long ago, a village girl named Htukkanthein was accused of witchcraft and cast into the depths of the forest. She wandered for days, starving and alone, before vanishing without a trace. Soon after, villagers who entered the forest began to disappear. Those who returned spoke of a ghostly woman in white, standing among the trees, whispering their names. Some say she is the guardian of the mountain now, punishing those who trespass without permission. Even today, trekkers report strange encounters. A woman's voice calling out in the wind, footsteps echoing behind them on empty trails, and sudden gusts of freezing air on warm afternoons. One mountaineer, a skeptic, laughed off the stories and set up camp alone on the peak. The next morning, he was found trembling at the edge of a cliff, his face pale with terror. He could only say one thing: "She was right behind me." Locals warn that if you hear your name whispered in the wind, do not answer. It is said that those who do vanish into the mist, never to be seen again. So if you ever find yourself on Mount Victoria, enjoy the beauty, but never walk alone. The spirits of the mountain do not welcome strangers. 6. Indawgyi Lake, Kachin State, Myanmar. Deep in the remote wilderness of Kachin State, Myanmar's largest lake, Indawgyi Lake, stretches across the land like an ancient mirror. Its still waters reflect the sky with haunting perfection, but beneath its glassy surface lurks a darkness that has terrified locals for generations. Legends tell of an entire lost village that once stood where the lake now lies. The story goes that the villagers angered the gods with their greed, and one fateful night, the earth trembled, the skies darkened, and the entire village was swallowed by rising waters. Some say that on quiet nights, the ghostly remains of the village can still be seen beneath the surface, shimmering under the moonlight. But those who look too long into the depths often never return. Fishermen speak of strange lights flickering beneath their boats, moving as if something alive is watching them. Some have even claimed to see pale hands reaching up from the depths, vanishing just as quickly as they appeared. One chilling tale tells of a man who decided to swim in the lake alone at sunset. As he reached the middle, he suddenly screamed, struggling as if something was pulling him down. His friends rushed to help, but when they pulled him onto the boat, his eyes were wide with terror. He whispered, "I saw them. They are still down there." He never spoke another word again. The monks at the famous Shui Mitsu Pagoda, which sits atop the lake, warn visitors to never disturb the water after dark. They say the spirits of the drowned villagers still linger, waiting for someone to join them beneath the surface. So if you ever visit Indawgyi Lake, admire its beauty from afar. And whatever you do, don't look too deep into the water. You might not like what looks back. 7. Meinmahla Kyun Wildlife Sanctuary, Ayeyarwady Region, Myanmar. Hidden. Deep within the Ayeyarwady Delta, Meinmahla Kyun Wildlife Sanctuary is a vast and untamed land, known for its dense mangrove forests and deadly saltwater crocodiles. But the creatures lurking beneath the water are not the only things that haunt this place. Travelers who dare to enter the swamps at night speak of shadows that move without a source, eerie whispers carried on the wind, and figures that vanish the moment you try to look at them. Local fishermen refuse to set foot on the island after sundown. They believe the land is cursed, haunted by the spirits of those who drowned in its treacherous waters. One legend tells of a ghostly woman in black, seen walking along the muddy riverbanks at twilight. She is said to be the spirit of a villager who was sacrificed to appease the river gods long ago. Those who see her say she does not walk on the ground, she floats above it. One chilling tale speaks of a government research team that visited the sanctuary to study its crocodile population. One night, they heard footsteps outside their tent, slow and deliberate. When they looked, no one was there, only the endless stretch of dark mangrove trees. But the next morning, they found fresh footprints in the mud, circling their camp again and again. The prints were barefoot, too small to belong to a man, but too large for a child. The team packed up and left the island immediately, never returning. Even the crocodiles seemed to fear certain parts of the swamp, avoiding some waters as if something unseen lurks beneath them. The locals say that those who disrespect the land go missing, swallowed by the forest itself. So if you ever visit Meinmahla Kyun Wildlife Sanctuary, be careful where you step. The creatures of the swamp are watching, but something else is watching too. 8. Htukkanthein Cave Temple, Marauk-yu, Rakhine State. Hidden. Deep within the ancient kingdom of Marauk-yu, Htukkanthein Cave Temple is a sacred yet mysterious site that draws pilgrims seeking blessings. With its grand stone architecture and intricate carvings, it seems peaceful by daylight, but as night falls, the temple takes on a more sinister presence. Its darkened halls and hidden chambers are not just home to Buddha statues, they are said to harbor something far darker. Legend has it that the temple was built over the ruins of an ancient burial ground, where the spirits of the dead still linger. The most chilling story comes from a monk who once lived in the temple. It is said that while meditating in the cave's deepest chamber, he encountered a shadowy figure who claimed to be the spirit of a forgotten king. The monk tried to flee, but the figure followed him, blocking his exit, whispering in a language no human could understand. The monk's cries for help echoed through the temple, but when the villagers arrived, he was found motionless, his eyes wide in terror, his body cold and stiff. Locals now tell visitors never to enter the cave after sunset. They speak of a haunting presence that roams the dark corridors, always lurking just out of sight. A group of explorers once ventured into the temple at night, armed only with flashlights. As they passed through the narrow tunnels, they began to hear soft footsteps behind them, despite being completely alone. When they turned around, no one was there. But as they ventured deeper, their flashlights flickered and the temperature dropped. In the dim light, they thought they saw a figure standing motionless at the far end of the cave, staring at them. When they fled the temple, the figure disappeared, vanishing into the stone walls. To this day, no one dares to stay overnight in the Htukkanthein Cave Temple. It's said that if you listen carefully, you can still hear the soft whispers of the ancient king, waiting for someone to join him in the shadows. So if you find yourself in Marauk-yu, admire the beauty of the temple, but never linger after dark. The spirits of the past are always closer than you think. 9. Loikaw Caves, Kayah State, Myanmar. The Loikaw Caves in Kayah State are as mysterious as they are beautiful, nestled among the hills of central Myanmar. The caves are known for their tranquil atmosphere, offering peaceful shelter from the heat of the day. But beneath their serene exterior lies a dark and haunting history that visitors should be wary of. Locals believe the caves are the final resting place of ancient spirits, their souls trapped within the stone. One particularly chilling tale tells of a group of treasure hunters who ventured into the caves in search of long-lost riches. As they explored deeper into the labyrinth of passages, they heard strange noises, whispers and rustling, like something moving in the shadows. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the air became, until one by one, they started to feel cold hands brushing against their skin, despite no one else being there. As they reached the farthest point of the caves, the ground beneath them began to shake, and a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. Those who saw it never spoke of what they encountered. One man was found near the cave entrance, shaking uncontrollably, his eyes wide in terror. He could only whisper, "They're still here." Since then, many who have entered the Loikaw Caves have reported hearing footsteps behind them, even when they are alone, and some have vanished without a trace. The caves, it seems, are more than just rock. They are a doorway to something far darker. 10. Alaungdaw, Kathapa National Park, Sagaing Region, Myanmar. Alaungdaw. Kathapa National Park is one of Myanmar's most revered natural wonders, a place of dense forests, serene lakes, and mist-covered mountains. But despite its beauty, the park is also known for its dark and mysterious history, one filled with stories of restless spirits and ancient curses. The park is home to Alaungdaw Kathapa, a revered Buddhist monk who is said to have achieved spiritual enlightenment in the very heart of this wilderness. However, local legends speak of a terrible price he paid for his wisdom, a price that has bound the spirits of the park forever. It is said that after his death, the monk's soul was trapped in the park, bound to protect its sacred grounds. But his protection comes at a terrible cost. Anyone who enters the park seeking to disturb its peace may awaken the wrath of the spirits. There have been numerous reports from travelers who ventured too deep into the forest, only to find themselves lost in a labyrinth of trees, unable to find their way out. Many speak of shadows darting between the trees, figures that seem to follow them, and voices that whisper their names. One particularly eerie tale tells of a group of hikers who camped near one of the lakes. They heard footsteps around their tent during the night, though no one was visible. When they woke in the morning, they discovered strange marks on the ground, as though something heavy had walked around their camp. The most terrifying of all tales is of a young man who climbed to the park's highest peak, seeking enlightenment. He was never seen again. His friends say they heard his voice calling from the mountain, but when they searched, all they found was his abandoned bag and a trail of footprints leading into the mist. If you ever visit Alaungdaw Kathapa National Park, respect its peace, for the spirits that dwell there are always watching, and they are not quick to forgive those who disturb their sacred home. So, did these ghost stories send a shiver down your spine? If you dare, take a closer look at Myanmar's most haunted sites. But remember, some legends should remain untold. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling stories from the darkest corners of the world.